Hi, folks. Welcome to another movie chat here. I'm Joe Mayo, and I'm here tonight with Tim Allen. Here
Hello.
he is. Not that Tim Allen,
No,
this
no,
Tim
the
Allen,
better one.
the better one. And Tom Hunyadi will not be able to join us today. I believe he's working. So it'll just be Tim and myself. But then again, there's only four people here. People are going to be asking during the comments, where's Tom? Where's Tom? Even though just covered it, but nobody's watching yet. So that's what happens with that.
Yep.
So all we have here is James Farley, ever faithful James Farley is there.
Ever-present James Farley. Hello, James.
Yeah, what's going on there? So anyway, we got Nick there, CD man.
Hello.
And I know that for myself, I don't have a heck of a lot of stuff to watch this past week. How's this train?
Don't hear a thing.
Really? Interesting.
Really?
Anybody else hear the train?
Well, you're all worried about it. I don't hear a thing.
Oh. Hello, Mike.
Hello.
All right. I guess I'll start. You probably got more interesting things to talk about than me.
No.
But I mean, I always want to wait till there's more people present. But
Yeah.
How do you drag it out? If anybody's got movie stuff if you three got anything you can make up movie stuff. What's your favorite movie? What's your favorite director? Anything like that. The audio is so much better when you're not wearing the headset, Joe. Okay, well, I can understand that my voice might be clearer or whatever, but I'm worried about, it's not, my voice I'm worried about, it's the noises around me. Neighbors walking around, creaking on the ceiling.
We don't hear that stuff. You're always worried about that, and we don't hear it.
Well, I know sometimes when I make videos, I hear it when the video playback. I don't know about the live stream.
I never hear it.
Hello, Matchstick Man.
Hello.
Do you guys try and watch every DVD or Blu-ray or 4K you buy? Well,
no.
Yeah. I'm trying now. I got lots of things I've never, I've been watching you since your second video ever on YouTube. I don't think I've noticed the train once. Well, I know I've heard it I'm talking about on the video playback, videos of regular videos, but okay, I'm glad it's not intrusive.
No, it's certainly not intrusive anyway. I can say that for sure.
And the toilet flushing, I've heard it.
Yeah, I never heard that once.
Oh, come on, man.
I haven't. And I've watched pretty much every video you've made too, and you know that. So
wow, that's incredible. Yeah, you really were R/R.
Yeah, I don't comment all the time anymore, but I always watch them.
Well, there's not always, like I said, I watch videos. There's not always something to say, really.
Yeah, I always hit the like button.
And Penny Lane is joining us. Hello, Penny Lane.
Hello, Penny Lane.
Penny. I'm going to talk a little bit about. I'll start. Probably you got more of the juicy stuff, I'm guessing. So I will allow for more people to come for your choices or whatever the word is, offerings.
Yeah.
All right. So what did I watch like this is the last show? Well, I've been just trying to get. This says because Curb Your Enthusiasm, the 12th and final. It says season. Now whether that's going to be, I don't know. I guess it is because they're saying it. But what gets me about this is I've said for a few seasons now that even though I like this show, it really has run its course a while ago. And it's sad because I think if more effort was put into it, they could try to do different things, new things, something that's not the same old with the characters. I'm very tired of the character of Leon, J.B. Smoove, I think is the actor. I'm really tired of him. It's the same shtick. He's been doing this for I don't know how many seasons, forever. He's just there. He's in the way all the time. And it used to be funny when he first came on the first time in the first season, but now I just think he's annoying. And then you got the character Susie, Jeff's wife, who is her nasty, cursing, foul-mouthed wife, always badgering her husband Jeff, wore thin for me a long time ago. And in this season, you have, sadly, Richard Lewis with his last appearances, and he is in
Yeah.
bad shape.
Yeah.
Bad shape.
Yeah.
I mean, the poor guy, he looks sick. He looks like death warmed over in this.
Yeah. Well, you know that in real life, that's like Larry's best friend
Yeah,
in the
yeah.
world,
But,
and he
you
lost
know,
his best friend. So
yeah,
it's
so
very
it's not,
sad.
it's good they try to have him in here. I don't know why I like the character. I always like the character of Jeff, I don't know why. I still think he's funny. But if I've watched, I think there were 10 episodes on here. And I've watched, if there are, I watched all but one. I have to watch the last one. And so far, there's no big indication on here like this is the grand finale. This is it. Let's make this a last hurrah. Let's make this a special season. It's just a bunch of situations that we, same or anything just things happening to Larry for no reason. And I don't know. This is not a very good send off as far as I'm concerned. I don't know what the last episode will be like. Before I continue, let me just bring a couple. Good evening, Robbie. Well, listen, this is not the Beatles show, Robbie. This is the movie show. But he's listening to Yesterday and Today.
That's nice.
I just pulled a bunch of DVDs and Blu-rays that I had stored under my kitchen sink in a bag. They must have got wet somehow. The films are fine, but the covers are water damaged. I know. Don't put them under your kitchen sink. No.
Yeah, don't put them under your sink.
The worst place for anything. All right. The other big thing, it's my big passion right now, as we may know. Oh, it's this. What are you holding on? Did you see that De Niro got fired by Warner Brothers from 2 films that were going to pay him over $40 million because of his public comments offending audiences? He was also demanding another $20 million. I see. The character Leon is annoying, along with Susie. Yeah. I'm tired of them both. But I loved them at first, both of them. I thought they were funny for a while. But anyway, so here it is again. Columbo, the 7th season, seasons 1 to 7. Wait a minute, what do you have? Season 1? Wait a minute.
That's all I have. Season 1 and some movies.
Oh, I forget. If you told me, I'm sorry if I can't remember. But here's a lot of things I want to talk about. The first thing, I'm sorry if some of this is familiar because I made a video about this. Some of you may have seen it. And these are all new to me. I've never seen a Columbo episodes. I'm enjoying this very much. But again, this horrible design. I don't know anybody that likes this design. And there's several pages, flip pages in here. There's one now. This just came off. Just came off the hub. Right there. And I was careful as could be, snapping it on. They come right off the hubs. They get scratched. So I watched the first disc. Jesus. I watched the first disc. I really enjoyed it. And I watched Prescription Murder, which was the first, like a movie that I really liked a lot. And then I watched Ransom for a Dead Man, which I liked quite a bit. Then on disc 2, Murder by the Book, which I liked a lot with Jack Cassidy in it. I liked that quite a lot. And the thing about that was I saw the entire episode. And at the end, because it was one of the scratched discs that had arrived in shipping with so many discs fell off, I guess because of that, it would not play at the end. Now, I saw the end. Luckily, I got through the entire episode. You find out, they take Jack Cassidy into custody, and then it ends. But I looked on YouTube. It's about a minute left that I couldn't play. But the minute was just silent thing, just like Columbo getting up and walking out and thumbing through one of his books, Cassidy's books, a little bit of business that on the way out for the credits that didn't really mean anything. So then I tried on the end of this too to watch Death Lends a Hand, and that would not play at all because of the damage, and that's just BS. Then Disc 3 is fine. I played Dead Weight, which for me so far is the least episode of this. That's the one that has, I believe that's the one with Eddie Albert in it from Green Acres, and
That's
Suzanne
the one I
Pleshette.
just watched. I just
I
watched
thought-
right now, and it's one of my favorites because I've been in love
we
with
don't always
Suzanne
see eye to
Pleshette
eye.
since I was like 10. So
We don't see eye to eye on it, but we could talk about it. And that's really, I did put on Suitable for Framing, which I kind of was groggy and I didn't pay attention to it, so I got to watch it again. It seems good. Seems like a good one to me. But I decided that I'm just going to say what the bleep, and I just ordered it today on Blu-ray. I'm going to get the Blu-ray set. Hopefully they're stacked better than this. I don't think they're like this in the Blu-ray. And I've heard that, and it's true, Blu-ray seems more durable to me.
yeah, no, they are more durable.
They're not as easily scratchy. So I'm going to do that. I got to wait for that to come. And one other thing. One more thing. One more thing about it. So I'm thinking, am I going to return this set or am I not going to return this set? Because I get some money back, right? For the DVD set, because I should get my money back. But the DVD set has something the Blu-ray set doesn't have. It has the 24 TV movies in it, right?
Yeah.
Now, I haven't checked the TV movie discs to see if they're also damaged. I'm going to check them. Some of them must have been involved in the damage. But I found out, this gets interesting, on the DVD, the TV movies are the way they're supposed to be, the right aspect ratio. 4:3, like a box, a square. I heard that on the Blu-ray set, because the TV movies are not on the Blu-ray standard. The first Blu-ray only has the 69 episode. They call it, even though they're all like movies, they call it the first 7 seasons. If you want the 24 TV movies, I got to buy a second one. But I found out the second one, they did that thing where they make it 1.78 to fit the screen. TV movies, and you may lose a little of the head and stuff. So I said, well, you know what? Maybe that's a reason for me to hang on to this set. If the 24 shows will play and not be scratched, and they're in their proper square aspect ratio, then I didn't lose out. I was able to use them for here.
Yeah.
That's my long-winded explanation of that.
If they do it right, you won't lose anything but a little bit of superfluous stuff on the side. But and I'm not saying that they did, but if you put a movie in, change the aspect ratio shot by shot, then you won't lose anything. Because if your heads are at the top of the screen, then you cut the bottom off a little bit, and vice versa, and you make it work. And if you do that, then you won't necessarily lose anything. Well,
sometimes they shoot it for such an occasion that you can crop it later, rectangular, and not miss anything. But the information where I got my information was reading reviews on Amazon, and purists say they were upset because there's some of the headroom, like the heads are cut off.
Okay, well then they didn't do it right.
So I'm like,
saying it is possible to do it right.
Yeah, I know. I'm just going by that, And if that, I don't, so if that's the case, screw it. I hate when they do that. I'm surprised on the standard 7-season Blu-ray that for those 69 shows, whatnot, that they left that 1.33 without playing with that. So there you go. So Tim, looking for some comments, but they're just basic stuff here. The movie Rust. They're really going through with that? The Alec Baldwin thing? That movie Rust? I didn't know they were going through with that.
Wow.
Cheap price, cheap packaging. Well, the price was cheap. I got it for $33, but it was reduced. It wasn't always that price. When it was new, you still had the same danger of them falling off the hubs when it was like $65 or whatever it was, And the Blu-ray is $70 that I just ordered. And I was like, ugh, because I thought it was cheaper. And it was that situation where I had to wait today because the money was going to go on my account today. Where I had to wait till today to order it financially. So I ordered it, and now it seems it went up to 70. So that pissed me off. But it is what it is. Hello, James. Hello, Cherry. Just give them to me in 4x5, which is the way they were meant to be seen. Yeah, right. Are you going to get Daytime Revolution on Blu-ray? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I really liked it. Yeah. Okay, Tim. So let us know what you're doing. And also, I'd be anxious to hear your Columbo thoughts.
Okay. Well, yeah, I've only watched one episode since we last talked, and from season 1, I watched Deadweight, the Suzanne, and I've been in love with Suzanne Pleshette since the debut of Newhart.
No problem there,
and that's why I like this episode. That's why I like this episode. I just think, I don't like Eddie Albert, but since I don't really like that Eddie Albert, it's nice to see him play a bad guy. Because I don't like him.
They're always going to be the same smarmy kind of, defiant kind of characters. Like they're all the same. The murderer, and everyone.
Yeah. I got a feeling that they are, at least for the first season. And I don't know. Besides, I have the second half of the movies. That's all I have from Columbo. So, but. Yeah, they're always these cocky people, at least so far, which is, I don't know. It is what it is.
By the way, I should mention in Deadweight, I forget the name of the woman now, Kate Reed, who plays Suzanne Plechette's mother in this. I know her from the Andromeda Strain, which is one of my favorite movies of all time. She's in the Deadweight episode. That's the beauty of this. And I heard going into Columbo's that you're going to keep recognizing stars in these. You get to see.
Oh yeah. No, all of these old late 60s, 70s TV shows, you're going to recognize people that made it later. I watched this. I had no idea, but I picked it up for $1, so I watched it. Branded. And this was pretty good. This is a Western with Alan Ladd. It was in color, which surprised me. And Alan Ladd is a bad guy, but he's not a bad guy. He's a bad guy, but he's the nicest bad guy in the movie. He winds up being a good guy at the end, but he's a bad guy, and it's an identity thing. He poses as someone else, and then he can't go through with it. And it's an interesting kind of. It's when the psychological Western started, mid-50s sometime. So, Branded, it was decent.
Let's take a pause to go back to the Columbo episode, Deadweight, that we were talking about. Because I read all about it afterward, okay? And I did not notice that it wasn't Peter Falk in half the scenes. But then I read later that the situation was he wanted to direct or something, and he didn't show up. He played. This is cool. He played hard to get. He played prima donna and didn't show up. And then they had Eddie Albert had to do his scene. Good thing you brought this up because it reminded me. And Tim, I don't know if you know. Do you know about this? That I saw an interview with Suzanne Pleshette in later years talking about the episode and saying that they were friends and everything, Peter Falk and her, but it was really bad of him to do that. Very unprofessional. And all this kind of stuff. And then he decided they had to, because they had to shoot the scenes without him present and work around him, doubles and things. Then he came back and decided they want to do it again. Can we do it again? And they said, no way. I mean, the director, you're not going to do it over. It's shot. That's it. So he wasn't in all the scenes. And supposedly Eddie Albert said, you're a real asshole. I really wanted to work with you. And you're like, you're an asshole. You're a real asshole about this kind of thing. I don't know how I forgot that, but maybe that's why I could tell something was up.
Yeah, they did a good job. I didn't notice.
I didn't either.
So they did a really good job with it. Wow.
That's
Okay.
interesting.
Well, I showed this last week and I watched it, and I've never seen a movie that its expectations are exactly what the cover is. I watched The Six String Samurai, and you need all you need to know is this cover. This is a bizarre movie. I wouldn't say it's a good movie, but it's an entertaining movie. This
Guitar.
dorky looking Buddy Holly guy is in an apocalyptic future, and he's a guitar player and a samurai.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
there's a dopey little kid that follows him around, and he keeps trying to get rid of, but at the end he likes the kid and he saves the kid. Typical kind of thing. Shot in Death Valley. So it had to be really hot and awful, but yeah, it was. I recommend it if you like, weird sort of apocalyptic films. Interesting, good music in it. Interesting music. And last for watching, I talked about this last week too, but I only watched half of it. Children of Paradise. I finished it, watched the commentaries, and really good film, interesting film. I mean, not a lot happens. It'd be hard pressed to even describe the plot. A mime falls in love, but the two get separated, and she goes off and lives with a rich guy, and he gets married and has a couple of kids, and then they meet again, and he's still in love with her, and the end is Gone with the Wind. It
Sure.
really is.
Nice.
um, so yeah, that's what I watched. But today I went to the thrift store, and this has been there for 2 weeks, and it was maybe 3 weeks because it was half price today. So I picked this up just to have it on Blu-ray.
Oh,
Big was a buck.
yeah,
Half
that's
price
that's
was
a
a buck.
that's a
So I
cute
picked
movie.
Big up on Blu-ray. I don't even know what this is, but it's 50 episodes. I'm assuming it's probably about the whole series. Richard Denning's in it, Mr. and Mrs. North, and this was $1.50.
No, I know Richard
So I
Denning, but
picked it.
that's about it.
It's like a 6 disc set. This thing, so I picked that up just because it looks interesting, and I like old stuff, and who knows. And I couldn't leave this behind for a buck. It's two Lone Ranger movies,
Oh,
and I got a feeling they're shot in color because the back is in color. I didn't read it, but I got a feeling these are going to be the Lone Ranger in color. So
well,
I'm assuming Clayton Moore. I didn't, I just
I'm
grabbed
not
it.
familiar. I mean, I don't know the TV from the TV program to the movies. I don't know how that works.
Yeah, I don't know. And picked this up. It's six Randolph Scott movies, westerns. Just again a buck. When I see six old movies for a buck, it's hard for me to say no. I don't want these. I mean,
Well, it's your thing.
and I almost didn't pick this up. This is like again six I think. Doris Day films. Now I like Doris Day. I have a bunch of Doris Day films, but this one actually has if you look at the very bottom, if you can see it, The Man Who Knew
Okay.
Too Much is on it, which I do not have on Blu-ray or on DVD. So
All I know is Pillow Talk. That's it.
yeah. So Hitchcock, The Man Who Knew Too Much is in this set. So
Well,
that's
yeah.
why that was my decisive thing. It's got the original slip cover, and but again, a buck. Normally they upcharge for these kinds of things, but they didn't this time. This I picked up two classic Jackie Cooper films when he was still a kid. I don't know, again, a buck, two movies. There's the movies.
Where do you stand with the Little Rascal, Our Gang comedies?
I like them, but
That's where I want to see a Jackie Cooper.
well, Well, he was in The Champ, so which is a great movie, and these are both after The Champ. But one's not very long after, and the other's after a little bit. And then because I liked, I forgot the name of the movie already, Branded so much, they had this for $1. And I'm just looking. This might be UK now that I'm looking at it, and if it is, I won't be able to play it. But anyway, this is an Alan Ladd collection of I think 4 films. I'm thinking it might be UK because of that, but it might be all region too. Some UKs are all region,
Yeah.
or Australian, or who knows. But could be all region. I don't know. But 4 Alan Ladd films for $1. Pick that up. That's it. That's my new acquisitions.
Well, that's a lot
I didn't
of
spend a
stuff.
whole heck of a lot of money. Yeah,
No,
I didn't spend a whole lot of money.
Is Tightrope, first of all, is Tightrope a Clint Eastwood movie? I don't know.
Yeah, it might be. I've never seen it.
I might have seen it in the movies, or it's the movie I'm thinking it is. But that might be the 80s.
I don't know.
And then we're back to talking about Peter Falk.
Okay.
He won the right to direct the last episode of the first season, Blueprint to Murder with Patrick Neal. They gave him the most difficult episode to direct. I think it was the only time he did direct. And then we got Richard Denning, who played the governor in Hawaii Five-0. And he also played in some of my 50s horror and sci-fi movies.
Yeah, he's also in a lot of film noirs, which is where I know him from. Same thing with Alan Ladd. They both did a lot of film noirs.
Kino is in Kino. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, I think he might be talking about the and it's not. Where do they go? He might be talking about this. This is just some off company. They're probably going to be not very nice prints, but I don't care about that, to be honest. I'm not a huge quality guy. I mean, if I can see it in better quality, I will, obviously. But it's not a deal breaker for me. I will watch whatever I can watch and be happy enough to be able to see it. Especially these days.
Oh, Columbo Blu-ray Kino.
Oh, Columbo Blu-ray. I don't know.
So we've reached the end of the line right now. So we got to start getting some new information here. What's things to talk about?
Yeah, I don't have a whole lot. If part of me wishes I had all the Columbos, and part of me is glad I don't, because it's going to be such a time suck to watch them all.
Well, I've heard that those movies and The Return and are not very good. That's what I heard. I used to get things.
I remember seeing some of them, when they were on originally, and they were okay. I don't know. He's the weird thing. I don't know if it's the same, if they use the same, exact thing on your disc or mine, but I know on my Columbo set, it's weird. The whatever you call it at the beginning, the menu at the beginning, there's a picture of Columbo, and he's got graying hair and stuff, and it's season 1, and he's so much older in the picture that they chose for the screen menu of season 1 than he actually is in the show. It's kind of weird. He's very young when he starts, for Columbo. He's probably in his early 30s.
Columbo.
He's probably in his early 30s.
Did you know Billy Mooney's grandfather was Boris Karloff's agent in 1930 when he scored the audition for Boris to play Frankenstein in the 1931 classic? No, I did not know that. And I'm a fan of Karloff, and I'm a fan of Billy Mooney, so it is pretty amazing if there's a connection there. I never knew this.
Wow. Well, that explains where Billy Mooney came from then. His grandfather was an agent.
Okay. Well, first this one. Gladiator 2000 seemed to be very similar to Ben-Hur. Was that a remake? I didn't see Gladiator, so I don't know.
Yeah, I didn't see it either. I got a feeling it was just they just borrowed some bits, but I don't think it was a remake. Speaking of Ben-Hur, though, I passed up Ben-Hur today. Ben-Hur and what's the other biblical movie that Heston did? It
Ten
was
Commandments.
yeah, both of those in one package for $1. But here's
Huh.
the thing: the discs were so old. I got a feeling that if they were widescreen, it's that 4:3 widescreen, and you got to blow it up to get widescreen on your
Oh,
TV.
yeah, I see
And
what you
the
mean. Yeah.
DVDs were so old that there was 4 discs in the package. Each disc was part 1 and part 2, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna let that sit there. It has to be better than that by now. So yeah, I left it there.
The network wanted 2-hour films, and those drag out. The originals were an hour and a half. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I could see them dragging. All I know is the first movie I put on. The reason I put it on was I just wanted to see on the DVD if it was the right aspect ratio, 1:3:3, and it
Mm-hmm.
was. And I watched the first half hour, and it was dragged. The half hour was dragged out. The murder was dragged out before you didn't even see Columbo. And I'm like, wow, it was. I never had to know how to say his name. An actor I always like in the Omega Man and many others. Anthony Zerb or Zerby. I think it's Zerby. He's in there. And the quality it was dark. It was kind of dark looking. I'm like, maybe I want the Blu-ray now that I think of it, because it'll be like more high def and sharper. But
I'll
whatever.
see. I'll see him eventually. But maybe they were harking back to the very first Columbo, because the very first movie that they made, Columbo in '68 or whenever it was, you didn't see Columbo for about a half an hour in that one either. It was like a half an hour before Columbo shows up in that. You're waiting and you're waiting and you're waiting, and finally there he is.
True, and I want to see if Columbo is the same, and I guess he is, you know, but tighter editing helps sometimes.
Well, that's the thing about television, though. Everything has to be an exact length. So sometimes you lose a little bit. Sometimes you have to stretch things out more than you want to, because it had to fit, between commercial breaks, and it has to be exactly 2 hours. And, I mean,
How about the movie Intolerance?
that's been on my list to rewatch. I've only ever seen it once. For a long time. And there are 2 edits of that movie. There's the original, and then, I mean, I don't know how legitimate it is, but there is an edit that can be seen where it keeps flipping from different ages. And there's an edit where each one is its own vignette. And I think that would be interesting to see. But I haven't seen Intolerance in a long time. It dragged and was confusing from what I remember, but that was a long time ago. Like I said, I do own it on DVD. I need to watch it again.
Penguin on HBO Max is a great show, but you don't have HBO Max. You will have to wait till it comes on Blu-ray.
If it does.
Yeah, I got a problem with all all these programs that you got to have different services to watch and stuff like that. Just put them on
I have
247 a
none.
month.
They'll eventually either come out or be on a free service somewhere. Eventually, it may take years, but
Have any of you seen All This and World War II? No, I've never seen. It's not my cup of tea at all. That kind of thing.
yeah, but that's the you. I'm sure you have the soundtrack.
The soundtrack with the Beatles stuff.
Yeah. I saw it, but a long time ago. It was on TV once, and it was weird. It's all I can remember about it is it was very, very odd. but I did get to see it once.
I mean, I haven't even seen How I Won the War because of that. I just don't like those topics, too much. But
How I Won the War is pretty good. I like it. It's very odd. It's another very odd film. And Lennon's character is fairly minor in it, but he's maybe the oddest person in it, just about.
I've seen his scenes, most of them anyway, but I haven't watched the whole thing. And that's our 38-minute version of our show. If the pacing is slow, it's slow. What are you going to do? That's all. You're used to things going a lot faster, but if there's less people, there's less people. Apologies. Good Thursday. The first person to ask. Tom said that he was called into work today, so he wasn't able to make the show. And we'll see how that goes. Future shows, hopefully you'll be able to make. I'm still going to do the show anyway, even if it's just Tim and I, even if Tim can't make it, it's just me, I'll do it. Maybe at some point other people could join us, depending if it depends if movies or something. You like movies. People still work, do they?
A few, not very many, unfortunately, but let's not go there.
Hello, Rich. Couple of Rio Bravo and the Magnificent Seven, the version with George Kennedy. The version with George Kennedy, is that the same Yul Brynner version?
I think it is.
I don't know.
I get confused. There's two Wayne movies. One's Rio Bravo, and somebody in the chat will remind me what the other one was. And they're made within like 5 years of each other. They both star John Wayne, and one remakes the other one. And it's just very bizarre that they did this. The same exact story, same exact everything.
Well, Yul Brynner was not in this
part.
All right.
And Real Lobo, yeah. And they're the same movie. And it's like, why did one has Dean Martin and one has what's his name? Don't get old, people. I say this every week. Don't get old.
That's part of it. It's all right. As long as it's the Searchers.
Yeah, no. I'm the other the guy that Dean Martin plays in one movie.
Oh, you call it Dean Martin? Dean Martin or
God.
Well, in the meantime, what's this Laurel and Hardy remake? We talk about at least the silent films. I have to get the remasters of these things if they read the Blu-ray.
They're just coming out with volume 2 of the silent ones.
I don't like that they didn't remaster on Blu-ray and HD all of the sound to talkies. What's up with that?
I think Flicker Alley might be doing it year by year, and so they'll get there, but they're doing it year by year, and they started at the beginning.
Rio Bravo, yeah. I mean, I've never seen it, heard of it. I saw
Robert Mitchum. Robert Mitchum and Dean Martin play the same character, and then there's another guy. There's 3 people, and John Wayne plays the same in both. It's just bizarre. I don't know why they did it, but they did.
I enjoyed the biopic Stan and Ollie. I found out it wasn't all accurate. I said, I know. I always nitpick that, but I still say that people's stories, for the most part, the real story, the true stories, are dramatic enough. I don't understand why you got to put in some stuff that doesn't belong there. But as shocked as I am to think I'm going to put this up, I will. Funny things that happen. Maybe I should play the lottery. How I Won the War is a bad film, but a good thing came out of it. Yeah, John worked on Strawberry Fields in Almeria, Spain.
I don't think I disagree. I don't think it's a bad film at all. It's an interesting '60s film.
Yeah,
I don't
well,
think it's bad.
as far as I didn't really catch. I didn't think about that part. I just caught the Strawberry
Yeah,
Fields part.
yeah.
Sons of Katie Elder is my favorite. Here it is. We were waiting. Jaws or no Rocky mention yet, but Star Wars. But we got Jaws mentioned. There's no way I would bet that a lot of money if I don't have that Jaws will be in the theaters. It has to be. When you say the theater, what do you mean? Like Broadway shows, things like that? Not me, really.
Me either. Although I did see 3 shows the second time. I think it was the second time I went to London, and I enjoyed all 3. Surprisingly, one of them was an opera. I even enjoyed an opera. I couldn't believe it. It's probably the only opera I would ever enjoy, but it was Madame Butterfly, and that's why I think I enjoyed it. I kind of knew the story, It wasn't all singing. There was some acting involved, and but
I mean, I've gone to some shows, but not a lot.
I saw Sunset Boulevard with Petula Clark, which was amazing, and I saw The Odd Couple, which was even more amazing. Right. So with Jack Klugman and Tony Randall. So the 3 shows I have seen were all very, very good. I enjoyed them.
Ricky Nelson was Colorado. James Caan was Mississippi.
Okay, yeah, that was the other 2 in that film, and but I just don't know. And I think it was 2 different directors, but I still don't know why it was done. It's the same film.
Sorry, guys. Is that a Raquel Welch movie? Bandolero with Jimmy Stewart and Dean Martin. I think
it might be. I might even have that, but I've never seen it.
Tim, do you think Modern Times is Chaplin's the best? I haven't seen it.
Back and forth on what's his. I think City Lights is best.
City Lights is the best one I've seen. My favorite of the ones I've seen, but I haven't seen everything.
But The Great Dictator is really good too, and even Monsieur Verdot is very good because it's unlike anything he ever did. It's a very dark comedy. I mean, Chaplin is basically a gigolo, and he marries rich women and murders them. This is the plot of a Chaplin film, and Chaplin is the guy. So it's an interesting film. Yeah.
A better film, I guess, besides How I Won the War, is The Family Way, with the soundtrack by Paul. Isn't this supposed to be that Paul didn't do all the soundtrack or something?
Paul wrote one little ditty, and George Martin did the soundtrack, basically.
Yeah.
Because the soundtrack is just variations on one song, from what I've heard. I've never seen the movie, but I do have the CD and the album, and it is the same song over and over again, just different ways of playing it.
John was a much better actor than Paul. I've always found Paul, in my opinion, to be the least actor of the 4. I think Ringo was the best. Ringo and George, I thought were the 2 best. Then John, maybe. But I haven't seen all. Yeah. All of How I Won the War.
Well, George didn't really act. George was just himself. But George is charming. Paul is charming, but he's a fake kind of charming. And George is just, a down-to-earth, nice guy. I mean, that scene in A Hard Day's Night, George's big scene in A Hard Day's Night, shows you everything you need to know about George. I mean, he's just cool.
Yeah. But there's a certain kind of way, too, when you're delivering your lines in a movie, even A Hard Day's Night, even though you're playing yourself, that you could be more natural, or you could just seem right. I don't know. Just my observation. Oliver Hardy from Harlem, Georgia, the next town over from me. Austin Museum they have for him there. I love Oliver Hardy. Might be my favorite funny man of all time. I don't know. He's like, he might be. Hello, Hawk Lord. A funny thing happened on the way to the forum is a funny film.
I have only seen parts of it.
All the same film with John Wayne. Those three.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, you're talking about movie. When you said the theater, you meant movie theaters? Before, not the theater like in Broadway theater. Well, I've said before a million times, I believe when given a chance, movie theaters are it. That's the way to see movies as intended. In a movie theater, with an appreciative audience, mind you, with an audience that behaves, that gets into it, that reacts the right way in all the right places. My best movie experiences in my life have come from movie theaters like that, where people scream at the right time, laugh, applaud. I've had a lot of experience. Not so much anymore. That doesn't happen anymore. Really, I don't find it. People are just.
I don't think people have the attention span anymore. But
I don't know what it is.
I haven't been to a movie theater in years and years, but I love movie theaters. But I don't
Sexy
really have
old
one.
Raquel was in that movie, Bandolero. Jim Brown. Modern Times is the best Chaplin I've seen. Oh, I forgot about. You could say that. That's his best.
Yeah, Monsieur Rideau is interesting. Very, and Chaplin goes off to be executed at the end of the film. I mean, that's for a Chaplin film. That's pretty dark.
I still like The Kid. That's another film.
Yeah, no, I like all of his films. I even like The Circus. A lot of Circus gets overlooked. Circus is good. I think of all of his films. Now I'm not going to remember the name of it. Oh, come on, Tim.
Come on, Tim.
The one where he's up north and it's all freezing cold. What the heck? That movie I think is overrated in my opinion. It's good, but it's not. I don't think it's the best.
Yeah, all the Beatles had a solo scene in A Hard Day's Night, including Paul. And I remember now, you say it
Yeah,
that
Paul's
he was cut, and supposedly he couldn't really make it work or something. I remember hearing.
I've seen it. I think it's been on YouTube. I think I've seen it. It's not great.
You're the only one in the world that's ever seen it.
Nothing in it that would have helped the movie or move it along or anything.
Nobody's seen that, Tim. I challenge you on that one.
No, maybe I've just seen stills from it and heard the audio, but I have heard Paul's speaking part and the girl. I know what the girl looks like. He meets a dancer.
Yeah, I've seen the stills too. Yep.
Yeah, okay, maybe that's what I've seen, but and I heard the dialogue.
I'd rather people shut up when at the pictures. Well, and I don't know how old you are or what. Well, this not just an age thing, but if you were around, like I said, there's nothing like when you're in a theater and Richard Dreyfuss and Jaws said something like, "Can you tell me if there's a good Chinese restaurant on the island?" And he says, "Yeah, you walk straight ahead." And he goes, "They're all gonna die." And everybody laughs together. There's nothing like that. And when they go down into the boat and they see the hull of the ship and the head comes out of the boat, and all the audience screams, all at once. There's nothing like it, man. There just isn't. To me, but it's my opinion. So what am I saying? It's not definite. Everybody's got opinions.
Oh. I thought of it just now, and then I saw that you wrote it. The Gold Rush is the movie I was trying to think of.
The Gold Rush.
I think, especially the version that got re-released in the 40s, where the ending is cut off and Chaplin narrates it.
Ringo is the best actor by far. Hello, Tanner. I ordered the Columbo Blu-ray set by Kino Lorbe the other day. Should come in tomorrow. Looking forward to checking out that series. Absolutely. Talking about
it, he's such a pest. It's a great character.
Yeah. Have you been to a midnight session of Rocky Horror where the audience participates? I can't remember. That's something I would remember. No, I don't think I ever have.
I was never interested.
Jeff Kendall, hello there. Tim, you like the Gold Rush. I like that one. I like City Lights the best.
Oh,
That's the only one I own of his, City Lights.
yeah. Well, the Gold Rush is okay, especially in its silent form. But he narrated it later and re-edited it, and that's the one you usually see these days. And I want the original.
They had the dialogue in Hard Day's Night and had actors perform it well. What I saw.
Okay, I can't remember. It seems like I've seen still because I know what the girl looks like, and I know Paul was wearing his typical black suit.
Oh, Philip is in the UK. Nothing with a few oohs and laughing, ha-ha. But just I've heard in America people cheer in the middle of movies and things. I'm not used to things like that in the UK. If it works properly and if it calls for a cheer, it really works properly,
I've never seen the whole thing, James. That's Chaplin's last film. He's not in it. It's a Sophia Loren film, and he directed it. And I've heard it's not great, but I've never seen it.
Okay. In the movie Ransom for a Dead Man, how does a woman get her husband's body in and out of a car boot? She would have to be a power lifter. And I'm trying to remember that one. Which one was Ransom for a Dead Man?
Oh, that is one. Yeah, that's one of the first four. I know that.
It's one of the second movie. Maybe it's a second movie.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
It made sense to me at the time, but I've already forgotten.
Yeah, I didn't. Yeah. What do you think of Limelight? That's the one I still need to see. Heard good things about it. I think Buster Keaton has a small part in it.
Yeah, It's Chaplin and Keaton. It's okay. It's them revisiting their glory days and trying to make it in modern times, and but they're vaudeville guys, and it's kind of a sad and depressing film a little bit, and I've never liked Keaton in speaking roles all that much.
Yeah. Okay, Lee Grant. Yeah, I just can't remember it. Wow.
Yeah.
This is why I want to make notes all the time on things. Who was the other actor in it? Car boot. Picked up McMillan and Wife DVD set for $20. Susan St. James was pretty nice back then. Yeah, I liked her back then. I was a kid and I liked her back then. I thought she was, I liked that kind of look back then. I used to like just straight hair, very straight hair, brunettes at the time. It's a bit of a drama, but it's funny too.
Oh yeah, no, it's. I wouldn't say once Chaplin started making features, I'd say most of them are actually more drama than comedy. I mean, that's pull at the old heartstrings. That's what you like to do.
Tim, you're thinking Countess from Hong Kong.
Well, I am thinking of Count Paul. Okay, King in New York is his second to last film. Yes, you're right. I was thinking that as I was saying it, and I'm like, am I wrong? Yeah, that's the one with A King in New York. Isn't he plays a king, and he's supposedly in New York, and he can't. He's having a hard time negotiating the big city, and it's not a great film. It's not a great. It's probably his worst film that he's in, but it's not worse than The Countess of Hong Kong, I don't think.
Well, we're getting near. Well, we've got a few minutes to the hour mark. I think I'm going to call this at an hour because I also got to leave. But I've always heard when Keaton joined MGM, he lost the control he had of his films. So maybe his sound films could have been better.
No, he did, and he got teamed with why can't I think of anybody's names anymore? The guy with the big schnozola, Jimmy Durante. And he did not want a partner, and he certainly didn't want Jimmy Durante as a partner who just stole all of his thunder. And Keaton was not happy with that arrangement at all. But I mean, if you've ever heard Buster Keaton talk, you know, he looks like in the silent films, he looks like this prim and proper guy most of the time, you know, a little weakling. And you hear him speak, and he talks like a Midwestern farmer, you know, and it's just it's not a good combination.
He was in a Twilight Zone, wasn't he? As an older guy.
I don't remember him in a Twilight Zone, but he could have been.
I think it's him. But you know, it's oh gee, I can't remember. It takes place like it's like a silent movie. Then it's like they speed up the camera. I'm trying to remember it. Check it out.
Yeah, I've seen them all, but I don't remember them all. He could have been. He's in Sunset Boulevard. He's
an older guy, obviously, in the Twilight Zone.
Yeah. No, that was he was probably a few years before his death.
Little chunky, and it was something like that about being in a movie. Like, yeah, I can't remember. Everything becomes like a silent movie or something, and it. I can't remember the episode. So, but anybody know that? Let us know because I have to go though soon. So. I'll let it strike 1 hour. Always looks better in the time stamp. An hour 5, something like that. Now I know next week we're here every Thursday, but next week will be Thanksgiving here, so I probably won't be here. You know, doing the show.
I won't be home on Thursday.
Yeah, so we'll skip next week. It'll be 2 weeks. That. Got to keep notes then, Tim. We're probably going to be watching, I'm guessing, a lot of stuff and a lot of maybe, well, who knows? A lot. Speak for you. I don't know about me.
I feel like I haven't been watching that much, but one of the movies I watched was 2 parts, and then there was commentary. So that's like 4 days of film watching for me right there. So, you know, yeah.
All right. Well, what's this? I think it's something about him going from a silent world to a sound world or something like that. Yeah, that's what it was. It was silent at first. It starts like a silent movie, and then it goes into a sound regular world. Right. All right, everybody. So this is the end of our show for now. I thank Tim for being here, and even though it's only an hour, there's a lot of things we covered. I think and showing stuff, talking about stuff. So, yeah, what more can I say? We'll do it again when we can, maybe 2 weeks. So thank you, everybody. Subscribe, etc., etc. Talk soon.
Bye.
Bye-bye.